Hello, everyone. We are live with another episode of Level Up Law, where every Tuesday at noon here at South Carolina Legal Services, we are leveling up your legal knowledge about an area of law that we practice in. I'm attorney Susan Ingalls here with our producer Kenneth Elliott, and you are viewing our attorney Tiffany Love from our Rock Hill office. Tiffany is our lead attorney for barriers to employment. And of course, lack of a driver's license is certainly one of those. And so that is what Tiffany is going to be discussing starting in just a moment. But before she gets started, we do always want you to know that this is not legal advice. It's just general information for the public. If you need the help of a lawyer, you can always call our intake line here at Legal Services, or you can apply online as well. The information on how to do that will be provided at the end of today's presentation, so keep an eye out for that if you need to apply. Now, all of our episodes are recorded and posted to the Level Up Law playlist on our YouTube channel, usually within about 24 hours. Kenneth is really lickety-split on doing that, so you can look for that there. And also, be sure to check out our social media besides our YouTube channel. Always like and subscribe so you can get all the up-to-date information that we provide on Level Up Law and on our other resources. Those websites and social media handles can be found also on the last slide of today's presentation. And also you can access those from our website at www.sclegal.org. Now, Tiffany will be able to answer some general questions at the end of the presentation today. So if you do have any questions, you can put them in the question box, not the chat box, but the question box that you see on your screen. So go ahead and feel free to do that. So without anything further, I'll turn it over to attorney Tiffany Love. Thanks for being with us, Tiffany.
Thank you, Susie. All right, so again, as Susie mentioned, my name is Tiffany Love. I am going to be discussing today how to get your driver's license reinstated, just some helpful tips and programs that may be eligible for restoration of your driver's licenses. So before we get to that part, though, I do want to kind of give a little overview of what South Carolina Legal Services is and what we do. We are a statewide nonprofit law firm that provides free legal services to protect the rights and represent the interests of low-income South Carolinians. We have 9 offices across the state of South Carolina, so we serve the entire state, and there are no attorney fees for our services. You can apply in a few ways for our help, and as Susie mentioned, this will be on our last slide as well. But you can apply by phone Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the number listed on screen. You can also apply online on our website at www.sclegal.org at any time, 24 hours a day. And if you have been served with papers or have no access to a phone or the internet, you can also come to the office that's closest to you. All right, so where to start? When you're talking about driver's licenses and getting your license reinstated, you want to start with getting your driving record. That's going to show you all the necessary information to show you what is interfering with your driver's license. It's $6 to get a copy of your driving record. You can get it online on the DMV's website, www.scdmvonline.com. A PDF comes up of your record and you can print it, you can save it, you can email it to yourself. You can also go in person to your local DMV office or branch and get a copy of your driving record. You can mail in the form. The form is on their website and they can mail it back to you. And then also you can look at a point summary on the DMV website as well, which I'll get a bit more into later. The most common suspensions we see are driving under the influence or driving under suspension, child support non-payment or arrears, numerous driving violations, out-of-state tickets, and unpaid fines and fees. Although this isn't an exhaustive list, these are just the most common. The typical requirements for reinstatement is usually a $100 reinstatement fee. You may have to pay other fees that are associated with things like a driving under suspension, SR22 insurance, also known as high risk insurance, ADSAP, which are alcohol classes, and unpaid county property taxes. All right, so getting back on the road. There are a few plans that the DMV offers to allowing people with suspended licenses to get back on the road quicker. And you can actually call them to see exactly what program you qualify for. And there are some that aren't listed here. So even if you don't feel like you qualify for any of these today, it's worth giving the DMV a call to see if they have any other options for you specifically. But generally, those plans are payment plans, provisional driver's licenses, route restricted driver's licenses, and temporary alcohol licenses. We'll start with the payment plan. To enter into a payment plan, a person must be a South Carolina resident. They have to be 18 years old. They have to have a current South Carolina driver's license or at least be eligible once those reinstatement fees are paid. They have to have met all conditions for reinstatement, of course, with the exception of paying the fee. And you can have not participated in the payment plan within the last 36 months. You have to owe at least $300 in fees, and you have to be suspended for a qualifying reason, which usually is almost anything except for DUIs and DUSs. So driving under influence and driving under suspension is usually doesn't qualify under the payment plan. And you can have no pending suspension. You can enroll in a payment plan on the DMV's website, or you can go into your local branch and ask to enroll into a payment plan. You have to pay a $35 administrative fee and a 15% deposit of the total reinstatement fee, plus any daily fees that may have accrued or that you may owe. You sign the agreement for the payment plan. You pass any tests required for reinstatement. So you have to take the road test again. You pay any necessary fees for the test that may be associated with the road test or any other test. And once completed, you will get a 6-month driver's license. This 6-month driver's license gives the person full driving privileges. They can duplicate it with the same expiration date as their original license. It cannot be renewed after those 6 months, and it is also subject to suspension, the same as your regular driver's license. If you are suspended while you're enrolled in the plan, your license is going to be suspended, of course, and then all remaining suspensions will be reactivated. And the DMV is not going to refund any money that you have paid into the program. So you're stuck with all your suspensions and lost money at that point. When that 6 month expires, you're not going to be allowed to drive until your regular license is reinstated. There's also an option for a provisional driver's license, which is more so focused on alcohol-related offenses. Your driving privileges were suspended for first offense DUI or unlawful alcohol concentration. You had to have or have had a valid South Carolina driver's license, must have a blood alcohol concentration of 0.14 or less. You can have no other suspensions after that DUI or DUAC, except for maybe an implied consent under 21, blood alcohol concentration of 0.02 or greater, 0.15 or greater, or an alcohol violation, but they must be related to this same DUI or DUAC. It can't be another violation. That person must be enrolled in ADSAP as well, and they also have to pay a $100 for a provisional driver's license. There's also an option for a route restricted driver's license, which is kind of the catch-all. If you don't qualify for any other plan, you may want to see if you qualify for the route restricted driver's license. You must be a U.S. citizen or have permanent resident alien status. That person can drive from work to school. They can drive during work or school. They can go to and from ADSAP or to any court-ordered drug program. It's valid for the entire length of your suspension, and you can apply for it. The application is actually on the DMV's website, and of course, you can always go into your local branch again. There are many eligible suspensions to get a route restricted driver's license. You have accident judgment, you have an alcohol violation, blood alcohol concentration of 0.15, controlled substances, failure to stop for a blue light, false insurance certifications, implied consent, and even misrepresentation of identity. But you can only get a route restricted driver's license once, with the exception of if your license was suspended because of unpaid child support. You can get it multiple times if that's the case. There's also an option for a temporary alcohol license where you have had a suspension based on implied consent under 21, blood alcohol concentration of 0.15, 0.02 or more under 21, and you've requested an administrative hearing for this temporary alcohol license. So while the results are pending, you can get that license, and you will be able to use that license until the DMV receives the results of that hearing. If your suspension is sustained or they continue to hold it in place, then you have to return that license to the DMV. But again, you may go back and be eligible for a route restricted driver's license. And then if overturned, then you must return the temporary alcohol license to the DMV and just apply for a standard driver's license. All right, so other tools that may be helpful that are not necessarily programs. If you are a habitual offender, you also have options. There is a form on the DMV's website where you can submit a request, habitual offender reduction request, and you just submit a copy of your 10-year driving record with it, and you can only apply you can only get this reduction if you have already served at least 2 years of your habitual offender suspension. So you can't apply right away. You have to wait at least 2 years. There's also a way to kind of navigate the point system to pretty much help you be more so proactive rather than reactive in keeping your driver's license. So obviously when you break traffic laws, you may earn points against your driver's license, and your license may be suspended after 12 points, but 6 if that's like a permit or provisional driver's license or special restricted driver's license. In 1 year, after 1 year, your points are reduced by half, but you can also, again, check those number of points on your driving record for free on the DMV's website. So if you feel like you're unsure of where your points are, or you may be kind of getting into dangerous territory, just go ahead and check those points for free on their website. And then you can have your points reduced by taking a defensive driving course. They have a list of certified schools on the DMV's website. There's a hyperlink for it. There's also a link for the National Safety Council's 8-hour defensive driving course. So you can click on those and enroll into one of those programs to have your points reduced. If you're suspended for excessive points, the driving course is not going to reinstate your driving privileges. So that's what I meant by being proactive rather than reactive. You need to go ahead and apply for the driving course first before your driver's license is suspended. There's also an ADSAP community service option that not many people know about. Oftentimes people will say they can't get their driver's license back because they can't afford the ADSAP fees. Well, you don't necessarily have to be able to afford those fees to take the class, to complete the program. If you can't afford the cost, you may be eligible to perform 50 hours of community service. You would just need to reach out to the facility where you are trying to complete the ADSAP and let them know of your financial hardship, and you'll go from there. Traffic offenses involving alcohol or drugs generally are going to be the offenses that you must complete an alcohol and drug safety action program for. A few other solutions are the DMV has Amnesty Week once a year. where it allows for a person to shorten their suspension period for certain offenses. It's not for all offenses, and the application for that week actually lists what is eligible for a reduction and what is not. It usually happens at the end of March every year. You can check with the DMV for their 2022 date to get the exact date that it will be. There are also traffic and education programs, which is also more so being reactive to getting your license suspended. If you're able to do a traffic and alcohol education program, you can prevent it from the charge from getting on your driving record and then also on your criminal record, because some traffic violations will also appear there. Sheriff's amnesty days. The sheriff's offices in some counties have amnesty days where you can come if you have a warrant or certain penalties, and you will not go to jail. You're not supposed to go to jail. That's the point of the program. And you can get maybe your fines reduced, or you can have it converted to community service. This includes some traffic violations, but it is not going to include driving under the influence. And there are also programs, homeless courts, veterans courts, and drug courts, which allows a person to go through a program, have their charges dismissed, and that may be able to assist you with getting your driver's license reinstated if you have some of those traffic violations dismissed from your record. So I know I kind of sped through that, but that's all the information I have on restoring your driving record. As I mentioned, you can go to the DMV's website. They have all of these plans listed, but even if you don't see one that you think you may qualify, it's worth it to give them a call, because they do have more options available, and not every one of those is going to be listed for you. All right, Susie.
Well, thank you so much, Tiffany, for an excellent presentation on driver's license reinstatement. It's so good for our audience to know that there are some great options there. You've just got to take control and apply for the different things that you might be entitled to by way of getting that provisional license and getting that license reinstated. And the amnesty week and days are so important to know about too. And I will tell you that it was such a great presentation and covered everything so perfectly that we don't have any questions from our audience. So good on you for that. That's awesome. I do want to say to our audience also, thanks for joining us. And if you found this helpful and you know there's others that it could be helpful to, please do go to our YouTube channel tomorrow at South Carolina Legal Services YouTube page. And you can find this broadcast on our Level Up Law playlist. If you click on playlist, you'll find a number of playlists that we have, and Level Up Law is one of them. So definitely go there and find this presentation and share it out with folks that you may know that have this issue. We do want as many people as possible to get the important information from this and other episodes. And again, while you're there, be sure to like and subscribe for more. You know, if you sign up for the notifications while you're there, if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll get a notification each week when we post a new episode, even if you don't attend the live version. So definitely subscribe and get that turn on that little notification bell so you'll know when we have more Level Up Law episodes posted. And also, be sure to tune in next week for another episode of Level Up Law on Tuesday at noon. Next week, we'll be talking about financial declarations and family court in South Carolina. So that'll be a real interesting one for many folks out there. Let me just thanks again to Tiffany Love, our lead barriers to employment attorney here at South Carolina Legal Services. Her expertise in this and other matters is so valuable to us, and we thank you, Tiffany, for such a helpful presentation. And to you, our audience out there, thank you for tuning in today on another episode of Level Up Law. That concludes today's webinar. Thanks, everybody.